What's up, 10 Skill Squad? If I show you something, do you promise not to have a nostalgic gasm all over the place? Check this out. This, as I'm sure you're aware, you read the title, you saw the thumbnail. This is a golden arrow from Radio Shack. And these things were the knees of the bees in the late 80s, early 90s. And really, it is a staple, an icon of this hobby. It's where a lot of people got their start. Back in the day, before Traxxas and Low-C and all this good stuff, I mean, if you wanted something 10 scale and the radio-controlled whatever, you had a choice to make. Were you going to be a Tamiya guy, or were you going to have one of these? Now, if you were a Tamiya guy, hey, I coveted Tamiya Frog, Tamiya Grasshopper. Those things were awesome.
At a price that is immediately affordable and with the ability to be tuned up to amazing performance at any time, the Grasshopper fits every requirement for the ideal buggy.
But being from a small town in the Midwest, I mean, I could only ever see those in magazines, you know? There was no internet, there was no Amazon where you could just buy one. The closest that I got was this at my local Radio Shack. Now, this one is not mine. It was very generously donated to the channel by my step-uncle Todd. Thanks, brother. This thing's awesome.
A high-speed Golden Arrow off-roader with lightning response to leave them in the dust, and a turbocharged Ferrari that will burn up the racetrack.
Bob, you got 3 cars. We only have 2 boys.
2 little boys and 1 big one.
And although I could never afford one, I mean, these were over $100 really before you get any batteries for them.
Radio-controlled cars from $9.95 to $119.95.
And that was quite a bit of money back in the late 80s, early 90s. So this one was definitely, you know, ahead of my time, but I do remember seeing them, and I do remember thinking, oh my gosh, that's freaking awesome. And I could not even imagine actually owning one.
Can you imagine if we had these when we were 12?
Even better, we got them when we're 40.
So on this episode, we're going to go through this thing because it has not been run in a while. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of this thing, and we're going to see if we can get it running, see if we can, you know, make the old transmitter do stuff. It just uses a Tamiya style plug, so, you know, we can throw a battery in it, and we'll see if there's any life left in the golden arrow. So full disclosure, I did mess around a little bit with it, but I didn't get very far. But check this out. The transmitter powers up. Of course, this uses the old 27 megahertz or 26.995 megahertz system. No, you know, this is all old school tech. And of course, it's the dual stick, no pistol grip around these parts. Fun fact, my first ever Low-C used a dual stick Futaba radio. And I did look under the hatch here, and this part is a little concerning. Yeah, there were batteries left in it, and they look pretty crusty. So that's going to need some attention. And I know what you're thinking. It uses AA's and a freaking nickel metal hydride battery. Yes, it does. To be totally honest, I'm not 100% sure why the car doesn't run exclusively just off the nickel metal hydride battery, but you know, let's get these batteries out and see. We're gonna have to do some sanding, I think. Oh my, she is a dirty girl. I don't even know if these batteries will come out. Okay, so these batteries actually do look somewhat new-ish, but it's just the, oh yeah, that's a good sign. And we're just gonna do our best to kind of, yeah, don't breathe that. Just clean up these terminals a little bit. So, did you have one of these when you were a young lad? Do you still have one? Were you a Radio Shack guy, or were you a Tamiya guy? Are you like me? Like, do you have like just a nostalgia for all the toys of your youth that you could never afford? So now you buy them in your 30s. So the appeal of these, obviously, you know, is that they were sold at Radio Shack. I think these were actually built by Nikko, and they were meant to be a direct competitor with Tamiya, who pretty much had the market on lockdown. I mean, there was still Team Associated back then, but everybody had a freaking Tamiya. And this was the alternative. It was ready to run, you know, whereas the Tamiyas, you had to actually build yourself. You could get all the spare parts for them from Radio Shack, if I remember correctly.
There's a list of replacement parts in the back of the manual that can be ordered, as well as instructions for replacing them. So next time one of your customers brings in a Sagita that just had a high-speed impact with the side of the garage, they may be able to do the body work themselves instead of taking it to the shop.
See if these batteries do much of anything here. All right. Oh, I heard a noise. Did you guys catch that? When I was messing around with the batteries, I saw the back wheels kind of go boof. Oh, speaking of what, freaking actual differential in there. How cool is that?
Of course, you've got the digital proportional steering, twin wishbone suspension, differentials on both axles, and friction dampered shock absorbers. It takes the 7.2 volt racing pack and enough AA batteries to choke a horse.
And these, you know, these were super popular for a long time. I mean, you can still, you can still find them on eBay, you know. People still have them. I know people still run them. We're just going to spray a little bit of parts cleaner on here. Oh, Jesus. As far as upgrades, I'm not 100% sure. I think Radio Shack might have had some, you know, like hot motors that you could put in them, but for the most part, I think these were just ready to run, you know, meant to just go smash around the yard. I mean, the tires on this thing are pretty well flogged. You know, they're 30 years old, pretty tired. I think our switch... Oh, it's doing stuff. No way! Look at that! Oh, I think we're in business, boys. Just that little bit of cleaning up, some fresh batteries. This switch doesn't feel like it's actually doing much of anything, but apparently it is. Yes! Dude, I can't believe this thing is actually running. That is freaking awesome. Let's actually put this battery in here, shall we? Just goes to show you, they don't build them like they used to. If you wanted to get your foot in the hobby grade RC door, this was it. And this, I am really excited to say, is my first ever experience with one. And, woo! It's not going to be fast, is it? But it should. It reminds me so much of my first ever hobby grade, which was a Losi XXX buggy. It's kind of got that vibe, except, of course, this has a hard plastic body. Hopefully a little bit more durable than that thing, because I destroyed it. But that's half the fun. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it was that easy. Literally just put batteries in it, clean it up a little bit, and she goes, let's freaking rip.
Can you hear me, Jim? Yo, Jim, can you hear me? There he goes. Okay, on your marks, get set, go! You'll have to excuse the footage of the Golden Arrow running.
Not only is it really hard to drive and film at the same time with a dual stick transmitter, but the thing just isn't very exciting. It's not fast, it doesn't handle very well. If you give it maximum berries and then smash it into reverse and give it full lock, you can get the back end to slide around a little bit, but on flat ground, it's not anything to write home about. So you might think off-road, it's even better. Well, the tires on this thing are absolutely flawed. And with an open differential, most of the time you end up just spinning one tire. And last but not least, the runtime. Even with a fully charged new nickel metal hydride 6-cell battery, I only managed to get 7 to 8 minutes of runtime out of the thing. We certainly have come a long way in the last 33 years. How fast does it actually go? Not fast, but let's actually do some science about it, shall we? We will put our GPS speedometer in there and find out for sure. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's not going to be fast, is it? I think it's geared more for reliability as opposed to top speed. Speed. Peak speed. And we'll hit enter. Record. Boom. Now, normally I would say, strap it down in here, but I am so confident or not confident that we're going to be doing any crazy speeds. We're just going to stick it in the cockpit and call it good. All right, here we go. That's flat out. Yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. 13 miles per hour. That is miles, right? Yeah, 13 miles an hour. Not fast. But boy, does it look good doing it. Well, 10 Skill Squad, I'm recording the outro for this video in my car because I came to the park thinking that it would be a great place to film, and wouldn't you know it, everybody and their brother wants to come up to me and talk to me about how they used to have one just like that when they were a kid. So this thing is kind of a nostalgia freaking magnet. Is it fast? No. Is it exciting to drive? Not really. Is it capable? Not at all. So the way I see it, we have two options. One, we can try and find some original tires for this thing and put it back to its former glory. Or two, we can YOLO the thing, throw a brushless motor in there, a completely modern electronic system, and really make a freaking golden arrow rip. Let me know what you want to see down below. If this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found it. We like to do RC shenanigans like this all the time. And we've got some pretty epic stuff coming up. You're going to want to stick around. All right, guys, until next time. We're chopping Tamiya frogs out here. Chopping them!
Kevin and Jim are back again with a plethora of toys. Sit up, don't snooze, because if you snooze, you lose. And we want to hear some cash drawer noise. First on our list is the Rap Mic Amp. At $19.95, it's a surefire champ. You can mix your voice with the rhythm, dude, or add another instrument to set the mood. A keyboard, guitar, or a radio is all it takes to be a one-kid show.